I'm moving to uni in less than a week, and I'm supposed to be packing. But because I'm living in denial...
Denial is a river in Egypt!
Me and my best friend decided to spend the day walking around Bath, doing a self-guided tour of all of the filming locations they used in Bridgerton. This is also one of our last days together before I move, so it's a little bit sad. But here's how it went. It ended up taking about an hour to drive up to Bath, mainly because we got stuck behind this tractor. But along the way we saw this really cute bit of graffiti that just said we all deserve better. So if you needed to hear it, you deserve better. The first thing we did when we got to Bath was get some drinks and get some chips for the hour and a half of walking that the Bridgerton tour would take. The website we were using instructed us to start at Bath Abbey, so that's where we headed to. Although it wasn't part of the tour, it was an absolutely beautiful building in itself. With the doors of the Abbey to our backs, we headed left until we came across the first Bridgerton location, the modiste, which appears at several points throughout season 1 and in real life is actually this adorable little deli that sells these modiste Bridgerton themed teas. Just to the right of the modiste is Sienna's home, which Anthony regularly visits. We see him visit in this scene from episode 4 season 1.
We cannot be together, I know that now. This world shall not permit it.
If you keep on heading down past the modiste, you'll come across this archway, which in season 1 episode 5, Simon falls down in this exact spot, just after he leaves the drinking den. In reality, the building behind him is actually an adorable little coffee shop. I was surprised to find out how much Bridgerton was shot in this square. Each of these shots made pretty obvious by the prominent tree in the middle. Here it is in Bridgerton. Here it is in real life. Bridgerton, real life. Crazy. Anyways, then we kind of had to double back on ourselves to get to our next destination, which was Bath Street, which first appears in season 1 episode 1, where Simon makes his dramatic entrance on horseback. Unfortunately, Primark was having some renovations, so they kind of ruined this shot for me with this stupid scaffolding. Still, you can tell that this is the street that Simon rides down, and if you look at that building in the background, it also appears in Bridgerton. You can just about see it in the background of this shot of Simon, and you can also see the rest of Bath Street. It's time for the next stop of the Bridgerton tour, which is number 12 Trim Street, which in Bridgerton plays the role of Gunters' tea shop. We did get a little bit lost trying to find this one, but it's the tea shop that Simon ends his friendship with Daphne outside of in season 1 episode 3.
So I was thinking about us doing something different.
In real life, it's actually a hairdresser, which I thought was quite fitting for Trim Street. In this next shot, they'd covered up the buzzer next to the grey door with a potted tree, which I thought was quite clever. Much like Simon, it was time for us to go and make our way to Beaufort Square, which was the next part of the tour. Apparently this square features quite a lot in the series, but the most notable scene is in season 1 episode 2.
So Daphne may be in love.
This was my second favourite part of the tour, and I think that's because this was the area that was most similar to the actual Bridgerton in the show, the only differences being that they planted 3 trees in this park. I really enjoyed trying to recreate some of the shots that I'd seen in the show, and I noticed some clever little camera tricks that they'd used whilst filming that you wouldn't notice unless you'd actually been there. For example, they hid some black bollards behind Eloise's right shoulder. This shot is facing away from the park, so you've got the houses on the right, but you should recognise the street on the left. We began making our way towards Royal Crescent, and on the way we found this gorgeous Georgian garden. That was 3 Gs. We stopped to have a little look around and for some photo opportunities and to see what a Georgian garden would have looked like back in the Georgian era. Then we made it to Royal Crescent, which was used a ton in the filming of Bridgerton, and I'm sure you can see why. It looks very Georgian-y, if that's a word. Along the way, me and Lila, being the nosy people that we are, were kind of snooping inside people's houses just to have a little look, but it looked like they were all kind of decorated in that Georgian aesthetic. Along the way, we stumbled across this spa and hotel, so of course we had to go in and have a look, and oh my gosh, it was stunning. Anyways, here are some of the scenes shot on the Royal Crescent in Bath.
Designs upon the girl and wish to marry her, then she can disappear for all I care and become a delicious dinner party anecdote.
The large house on the end of the Crescent is home to the Featherington family, although it's not too easily recognisable after some heavy CGI. Despite my poor comparison picture, you can tell that they're still the same building. We started to make our way to the final destination of the tour, walking past the assembly rooms, which is used as the interior of Lady Danbury's house for this scene.
Tonight we shall discover which young ladies might succeed at securing a match, thereby avoiding the dreadful, dismal condition known as the spinster.
We continued towards our final destination and walked past this cute little pub and some of the gorgeous Georgian houses in Bath, until we came across the Guildhall, which is used for the interior of this ball. After we made our way across Pulteney Bridge, the last destination of the tour came into view, and this belongs to a specific lady. Can you guess who? Let me know down in the comments who you think it is. The street that led up to the house at the end was lined with these massive Georgian houses, which again were frequently used for exterior shots in Bridgerton. And the house at the end of the road was in fact actually a museum. However, it was closed when we got there, unfortunately, so we couldn't have a look around inside. We made it to the end of the road and found ourselves at Lady Danbury's house. Let me know in the comments if you guessed right. This is the first time that we see Lady Danbury's home, although it is frequented throughout the entire series. And it has to be said, it is an absolutely stunning building.
And those vulgar mammas just keep such a secret.
That was the final destination, thus concluding our tour of all of the Bridgerton filming locations in Bath. We made our way back through the city of Bath, which is an absolutely gorgeous place in itself, to get all the way back to the car and then drove home. Whether you're a mega fan of Bridgerton or just looking for something to do for the day in Bath, I would absolutely recommend doing this tour because it was good fun and it was only about an hour and 20 minutes of walking. I'll leave a link to the tour guide that we used down in the description, and I'll also leave my socials so that if you go on a tour of Bath, make sure to tag me in some of the photos you take, so I'd love to see. Aside from that, if you've enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like, it helps the channel out a bunch, and consider subscribing if you want to see more of my videos. But for now, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.